Christopher Burghardt, Vice President of Government Affairs for First Solar. We're here at a Fondation EurActiv event, a stakeholder workshop in Brussels, and you've just been involved in a discussion relating to solar energy, renewables more generally, but solar energy specifically, and very importantly, grids. Would you tell us a little about the conversations that you've had?
Yeah, absolutely, with great pleasure. I think one of the things we talked about is how do we create sustainable markets and secure markets, so secure markets for investors. And a big point there was made about mechanisms that allow the industry to grow in a sustainable manner. So we've had the feed-in tariff in the past, which has worked very well, but in some places one has seen that because of at the level at which it was set, it created an overheated market, or it has created some kind of insecurity also for investors because it's been adapted so many times. So one of the important points made was we need to have sustainable feed-in tariffs at sustainable levels across the board. On the grid, the point was, and I think this is actually the most important point of the whole discussion is, well, actually, if you don't have a grid you can feed the electricity into, there is not much point even of producing it. So the most important question for us in Europe going forward is, investing in the grid. And the point that the European Climate Foundation makes in its report, which we endorse very much, is actually if you spend the capital expenditure now, you can amortize, or you can basically create a benefit that allows you to use money otherwise spent on operation and maintenance over the next 20 years or so, that can be pumped into the economy now to create a grid that's actually capable of managing, and not just renewables, but the overall energy supply of Europe and demand.
What sort of scale of infrastructure is this going to require? Clearly we're going towards a whole new economy in terms of energy use, and there must be very large implications.
Yeah, I think a lot of people think that this is a whole revolution. I think obviously grids need to become smarter in terms of managing intermittence. There will be some storage questions that need to be asked, but most importantly, if we plan the grid at a European level, and the infrastructure package that the European Commission is going to come up with will be addressing that. The point is you can actually minimize storage needs by just creating smart interconnections. So you will have new areas though that will need to be connected, for example offshore wind, but you will need to create just a better grid on the basis that we have today. And frankly, a lot of these investments need to be done anyway, regardless of renewables or not. But renewables are just another incentive to make these investments.
The smart grids, though, this is really where the action is in this policy area, isn't it? Without great improvement in the grids, the energy won't be able to be transported to the areas of population. So this is really a very important subject.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think, the smart grid, all it means is it's a grid that is able to manage a more complex system of supply and demand, right? So where traditionally you've had centralized production and decentralized consumption in that sense, you will have much more of a complex system going forward. But I think this is fundamental for many reasons. One of them is a social reason. Not everybody has a roof, for example, for solar PV. Not everybody can afford a solar installation. But we all need energy and we all want green energy. So, for example, one of the things that we as First Solar are making very strong points around is you need both rooftop applications and you need large industrial scale solar power plants that allow solar power to be fed into the grid. So CO2 neutral, clean solar power going into the grid in an affordable manner, both produced in an affordable manner and transported in an affordable manner, so every single household can have the benefit of having green electricity.